Hello, hello, hello. Live again. It's awesome. I'll remove the glasses now. I don't need it. I can just speak. Some water. And ta-da! I'm here again. I came. Awesome. Okay. I think that mic is working. I was here last week. That was my official first live stream. And I was telling you a bit of my background, where I was from Bulgaria, again, because nobody watched that. And I left it right around the time where I got to working for VMware. And what I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna talk a bit more about my journey and how it happens to that I'm right now in front of the camera and talking to you or talking to myself because I'm the only one watching. Oh my god. But yeah, I moved to Sofia. Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria. And in 2 years' time of me looking for the next job opportunity, because I used to be a tech support on Thank You for Calling, and that just it's exhausting and it gets repetitive real quick. So I was looking for something more challenging to grow myself, have a better opportunity career-wise, and of course, my biggest aspiration to one day become an entrepreneur or maybe a CEO, just own something, work for myself, create a business that would make me proud of myself. That has always been my drive, just to feel proud of myself. And I applied mm, for many months, probably around a year and a half. There were few good opportunities, but not a lot, not a lot of offers. I had few, but they were not something that I wanted to pursue. And finally, I found that job opportunity. It was as a project coordinator. My manager, she helped me a lot, and she converted me from a contractor to a FT in VMware. And I continued there. There were a bit of restructuring reorganization, and they moved me to another position under another boss. That boss, me and her, she, it was a strange relationship, and I had an outside influence from the people that used to work with her, constantly telling me, "Oh, she's not good. That's what you get." And there were a few signals that I was seeing as well. That's what I was feeling as well, and we just never had an amazing relationship. And I started hating my job. I felt like I was stuck. Like I was getting a decent amount of money, but I was procrastinating a lot. I was feeling like I don't want to do that. I didn't find any value in any of the tasks that I was doing, even though there was value. Of course, I was helping people, and I had a process. I was quick. I knew my stuff. It didn't bring me any joy in doing it. At that time, around the time I lost 20 kilos. I was on a very strict fast intermittent fasting diet. But also had made the decision, okay, I'm gonna train a lot. I'm gonna work out a lot. So I started. I bought a bike and I was doing like 30, 40 kilometers at least 3 or 4 times per week for sure. I was playing volleyball 3 or 4 times per week. and I met with a guy. He's a teacher. We met in the volleyball team where we played. We connected with him, and all of a sudden he's talking about teaching kids. He's also so he's a teacher, right? He's a teacher, but also he's a photographer on the side. He loves photography. He had created some kind of a course for kids to teach them to do photography, like a summer camp, a week off somewhere in nature. We'll go somewhere there, and they'll use their own cameras, and I'll teach them what to shoot, how to shoot it, where to focus, all of that beautiful things. And I've always wanted to work with kids. I find joy being around with them. They're just the purest and the most exciting. They're curious about everything, and they can give the most wonderful explanation of the world, because that's the only world that I have seen, and it just creates this beautiful vibe. You know, it's just so amusing, so interesting, so very wonderful to hear them, to interact with them. And I have two nieces, so just a bit of brackets. I have two nieces, and I love them dearly. I love spending time with them. I love being around them. I love helping them. I love teaching them. I love everything about them. So me and this guy, let's call him Nick. Me and this guy, we started talking about us, and I'm getting excited because that's something that I would like to do. And he's like, "Oh, maybe we can do it together." Then we had a meeting, and we started talking about it. And I said, "Okay, we can do this, and we can start. So I can help you with this, so we can have a bigger group." And all of a sudden, like, we're getting excited about it. I'm getting home, and I had a sleepless night. Like, my brain was going like crazy. Okay, we can do this and we can go there. And all of a sudden, I'm making a timeline for the next 10 years, how we can grow and make a club that is super valuable and helps kids get get skills that they cannot learn in school, and those skills can actually help them in life and in future. Uh, and I call him in the morning, and oh, dude, I just have to share this. I had an amazing idea, and we can do this, and we can do that. And he's up for it. He's super excited about it as well. So we start working on this. We we start doing planning, marketing, finances, consulting with accountants, consulting with lawyers. The plan was we create this, we find other teachers so that we can go to schools and offer the specific subject that those teachers can teach, and create clubs like outside of normal teaching stuff. And then it got scary. Then I got an influence from outside with my parents, and them challenging everything that we have assumed, challenging the toughness and how hard it would be to make it happen. And I gave in to that. It was around just before December. I was pushing a lot to get things done. We were meeting 3 or 4 times with Nick, and we were doing a lot of progress. And then after the Christmas break, I came back in Sofia, and I was not the same. I had no drive, no motivation. I I had this excuse. I was excusing my lack of effort to put in the business with, okay, it's planning time in my current VMware role. So I'm super busy. I have to be present there. That was just an excuse because even there I was procrastinating. I didn't feel like doing anything. And that fear of failure stopped me in my track. I, it, this continued for about month and a half, and we stopped communicating with Nick. And then finally, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Whatever, I'm gonna do it. We have to try it. I got my motivation back, but I didn't know where we stand with Nick because, of course, we haven't talked in a while, and I didn't know what to expect. Are we going to continue? Is he still up for it? So I set up a meeting. We go there and we talk for hour and a half for just random stuff. Nothing business related, just where you were, da da da. And then I asked the question, okay, so where do we stand? And he said, I cannot count on you. I'll remember the 16th of December because that was the day when we had the last meeting before this, the last time that you were motivated. Oh my God. The feel, what I felt at that moment is anger, annoyance, lack of belief in him. But again, see, it's excuse. I was explaining, okay, it's him. Now I know it's absolutely normal that he had that, and he decided I'm not gonna continue working with him because he cannot trust me. And at the same time, I felt relief as well because of the fear of failure, the pressure. But then I felt lost again. What do I do next? We committed so much. I was going to courses. I was doing courses for marketing, for designing, for business development, whatever I could find myself in. I was doing that on top of doing my job and making the plans for the kids clubs. And then all of a sudden, it's mid of February, end of January, beginning of February, and I'm lost again. I'm still stuck at the job. I'm waiting for the job to actually call me and say, "Hey, we are actually laying you off," because that's the time. That was just a few months after Broadcom has announced that their desire to acquire VMware, and we were waiting for all the worldwide regulators to check them for monopolistic activities and approve or stop the deal. So there was a lot of unknown at work. The only known that I had was that I didn't want to continue there, and I was hoping to be laid off with a hefty severance package. So I'm in that situation, right? I'm in a situation of I have been procrastinating for 2 months. Um, the fear in me is still there. I feel relieved because I'm not going to pursue it, but at the same time, I'm lost because I don't know what to do next. I'm waiting for my job to lay me off, and I know that I don't want to work for a corporation, but I don't know what to do at the same time. But what I knew was I had a calling, and that calling is called Camino. Camino. I wanted to do it the previous year, I talked with my boss and told her, "Hey, I'm super excited. I would love to do Camino. I would love to do the whole the French one, which is 830 kilometers. But I know that it will take around 30 to 40 days to finish it, and I know that you won't be able to give me vacation for that for like to be not to come to work for a month and something. But I found out the Portuguese one, it's like 280 kilometers. It will take me around 12 days. So I can take 3 weeks and that would be perfect. And she said, no, no, we cannot do that now. I'm going to promote you. So you have to focus on that. Okay, sure. You're promoting. So planning cycle and promotion wasn't, it was just okay, I'm going to give you this amount of work, but I'm not going to change your position, neither I'm going to change your paycheck. It's just a promotion, whatever. I don't want to go into that because that's one of the reasons why I didn't trust my manager, because she done that a few times. But I put my Camino dream on hold. Then I started working with Nick, and then Nick told me we're not going to work together. The company is in shambles. We're waiting to see when the deal is going to close. Is it going to close? Is it not? What will happen? Nobody knows. It's craziness all around us. And then I knew. Um, Before that, when we were working with Nick, I knew that I won't have the opportunity to go to Camino because we have to do a lot of things. We have to get in contact with a ton of school directors. We have to prepare for those meetings. We have to prepare the curriculum. We have to like. There's so many moving parts that there wasn't. I wasn't going to have time to actually do the Camino. But now I knew that that's what I'm going to do. I opened. I opened the calendar. I opened the flights. I opened everything. I just started learning as much as possible for the Camino. I scheduled a meeting with my manager. I saw when the planning cycle is next time. So I planned my Camino to finish at the moment as we start the planning cycle. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna do 3 weeks. It's gonna be before the planning cycle starts. So there's nothing you can do about it. No, of course you can do a lot about it, but come on. I bought a ticket. No, I didn't buy the ticket, but I did the research and I saw how much it is. I spoke with my manager. Of course, she already knew about the Camino. I was telling her about it, that I want to do it. Even in between, she agreed. The next morning, it wasn't the next morning. I think it was the same day. I just opened the laptop. I was super excited, like, yes, this is the best. I directly started booked the flight, booked to Madrid to Porto. I started researching what do I need, how do I get prepared, what I need to buy, what do I need to put in the backpack. I need to buy a backpack. I need to buy this. I need to buy that. I need to buy this. I need to buy that. I started walking every day. I was walking to work and back, which was around 5 kilometers. Last month before I went to do Camino, I was going to work with the backpack for Camino so I can get used to it. I was so committed. I was all in on that experience. I was preparing myself to succeed, and that's the drive to success. You see your goal. It it makes you happy inside of you just thinking about that goal. You make all concrete steps towards achieving that goal. You put in the effort, you put in the steps, you show up every day fully embracing that this is happening. And at the end, you win. You win because you've gained all of that experience. Even if it fails, you still win because you showed up and you can learn. In this case, I learned a lot. Camino was a 13-day life changing. That's Camino is the cornerstone of who I am right now. You can ask my wife. I used to be a prick, a dumbass, person that ghosted. We met 11 years ago. We dated for 4 months, and in that time, here and there, we might have seen each other for 1 or 2 times per year at best. We were not even seeing each other, and that's just randomly. Um, Year and a half before we got together again, we had a huge fight where we said very bad things to each other, and we just drew apart. We didn't talk, we didn't send messages, not for birthdays, not for Christmas, nothing. And then I did Camino, and I was a changed man. I can talk about Camino for a lot, but I think I'm gonna leave it for another time. But after Camino, I came back home, and the situation at work wasn't changed at all. It was still the same, still planning cycle, still I hate that, still what do I need to do? I had great thing about Camino is there's a lot of time for you to think, and there were other during my VMware years. There was another guy that shared with me a plan. He an idea, not a plan. Sorry, an idea for an app that would count steps, and for the steps you convert those steps for vouchers, for discount vouchers for different products. And I found that's a great, interesting idea, and I started working towards that. I sat down. I talked with him to see if he wants to join. He said no, because he's a cloud engineer, who wants to become a cloud architect in Switzerland, and he cannot go into because it's in a bank, so he cannot go solopreneuring stuff. It's just he has to be there. And I started thinking, okay, what do I need? I need a developer who built this application. Uh, and I checked my network, my personal network. I jotted down a few options of people that I would love to talk with and see if they want to work with. And the first person that I talked with, which actually had the least experience, was super eager. Like, yes, let's do it. We have talked with I have talked with him previously to start something together, but we never, like, it was never even into an idea. It's just talking about that we would love to work together. And I was again super excited. I was starting thinking how we can do this, how to monetize it. So it's a totally different field. Again, I went through a marketing course, to a graphics designer course, because I wanted to make it a bit to have a bit more knowledge of how things would look like, how to make it better and more enjoyable for the user to actually open the app and scroll and see what is happening. It was hard, and it started good. But it wasn't meant to be working with that person. This time, again, I did procrastinate a lot. There's a repeating pattern for me. There was fear, and the lack of knowledge scared me. The lack of clarity scared me. But again, I didn't find the help in my partner. And again, it's excuses, blaming on something else for the failures. That was the time after. So this is after Camino, right? And Camino was transformational. I I had the biggest breakthrough to this moment in my life while I was at the Camino. And I didn't even realize it up until a few months ago. But I was thinking about life. I was seeing a lot more differently. I was even thinking, okay, I'm gonna use the Camino as a promotional cycle uh, to show, okay, walking, sharing my boots, okay, share the story of your walking boots. Where have they been? But it was not clicking, you know. My partner wasn't like he was changing constantly. Oh, we need to do this, and I was indecisive. That's the truth. I didn't put my foot on the table. I didn't put in the effort as well. And when it's lacking the effort, the visibility is lacking, the clarity is lacking, and the action is lacking. And what we end up with is we stop. We stop at our tracks and we do whatever has been comfortable for years and years and years. That's watching videos, just staying on the sofa, or even just going out to ride the bike. Because that I enjoyed that, but it was not what I wanted to create. It felt good. I was like, okay, I'm at least doing something for my body, but it was not what I had envisioned for myself. Mm, so we continued with him for about a year, but it was maybe not a year, but around probably around a year. But he had a tragedy stuck in his life, and we put a stop on that. After that, he came back, and I momentum was already out for me. I tried to restart it, but it never felt okay. I was thinking about it and trying to push myself to make it happen, and it never did. Uh, Finally, got laid off. The Broadcom announced the deal is happening, so mass layoff. I was like, oh, hopefully I'm one of those lucky bastards that gets the severance package. I did, and I knew what I was gonna do. I traveled to New Zealand to meet my Camino friends, my Camino family. So during that time, of course, I did not do anything about the app. Though I did promote it a bit in New Zealand and had a bit of an interest. That's actually around the time when me and my wife now reintroduced ourselves in our lives and see the new people that we actually became. See, every time I talk about her, there's a smile on my face. You have to find that person that just brings a smile in your face just by thinking about it, and it's like it lights you up. Wonderful minds. That name comes from the app, because the app made a lot of transformations from starting as okay, it's gonna be a tree, and while you walk, you see the apples, like any fruits, maybe an apple tree, and the more you walk, the more apples you see, and the and each apple would represent a voucher that you can pick and you can use. Then it changed to okay, it needs to be a story, like a game, gamifying it and making it a story. So what story do I create? So I started talking with ChatGPT, our best friend now, and he came. It's a back and forth. So it's we came up with this magical world where everybody's is peaceful. It's green. It's a magical place. So we have two different characters, and from that character, the main protagonist, I think, the hero is called the Wanderer. The Wanderer was an ant, like a tree that has been wandering around the woods and helping maintain, helping people from the village. The village was, oh my god, I just remember the village was called Wood Haven. And in Wood Haven, the Wood Haven folks had to walk so they can fight off the darkening. The darkening was a black smoke that wanted to engulf the area and just conquer it, but with the power of walking, they could defeat it and just keep it out of it. And the Wanderer was there to help them out on this task. That was the whole plan. That was the whole storyline that we created. And again, that was changing and changing and changing, and so many different layers that at the end it just did not work. And we decided not gonna continue with that. But through the Wanderer, a lot of things started. I've always believed in unity. I've always believed that the world has to be united. We're living in one planet. We are one human race, and we have to unite. And I know that a lot of people that don't watch me, but if they hear that, they will be like, "Oh, how you're crazy! Borders, we have to control that." Unity is the single thing that would change the world totally for good. And I've been that's my mission, is to help create a world of peace, create a world where people act better towards each other, help people realize that we're all one, and how we act towards each other is how we want to be acted upon us. And because of that, and again, it comes to my desire to work with kids. I know that this idea has to be introduced and empowered with kids. If Gen Alpha learn this, they're raised with this idea, they're embodied with this idea, they will be the future leaders that will make this happen. And with that, I was thinking, okay, what can I do? I'm just this dude that is trying to find his place on Earth, with this great vision, but don't know what to do. So I was starting thinking, okay, I can do a podcast, and I can use this as my public speaking as well. That's what I'm doing right now. What can I do? Oh, I can call it Wanderfull Globe, and Wanderfull Globe can be Wanderfull Steps, because I was still thinking what should be the name of the app, and Wanderfull Steps, and I can have Wanderfull Minds. It just everything connects, and it never happened. I just dabbled in it. I didn't take the massive action. But while doing all of this, I also dabbled in politics, because I was like, okay, if I'm going to create a piece, I need to be able to create that world, offer a version of the world that would work with a united front, united globe, right? The politics did not work very well. The party that I was a member, I'm still actually a member of that party. It's not popular. It's not doing anything to be popularized, and don't have an identity. that was my first time in a campaign. I was like, I want to show up. I don't care about the party. What I want to do is have people go and vote, because that's the only way that we can make a change. People actually going outside and on the voting day go and put their vote in. That was the lowest ever voting cycle in Bulgaria, and we had been in a voting crisis, in a political crisis for since 2020, and last year I finally have somewhat stable government, a coalition, whatever. I don't want to go in there. But after the political, like after the vote ended on the 9th of June, I started reading a book, and this book has been such an influence for me, and I love myself for doing that, for actually putting that in the context, and actually making that uncomfortable decision and making that uncomfortable action every single morning. And that's Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. Club. I read it and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I was still reading while I started doing it. I believe it was around the 14th, 15th of June, uh, when I started waking up at 5 a.m. I did straight 120 days without missing a 5 a.m. wake up. Right now, there are a few days that I wake up at 7-ish, and that's usually because I have something in the evening, or that's usually what it is. But what I have found out is that when I don't wake up at 5 a.m., my day is just not the same. It doesn't start well. I'm not well equipped, and I tend to procrastinate again. But when I set up myself, I do the uncomfortable action of waking up at 5 a.m., getting outside, and actually making some effort to run. That's when my day starts great. I was growing. Every single day was growing. The moment I started 5 a.m., just a few days later, me and my wife decided to date again, and that has been the best decision ever. It's a no-brainer, the best decision ever. And so my summer then was amazing, the greatest summer ever for sure. So I was free, no job, just enjoying time with my wife. She had a job, but we were still traveling a lot. I was trying to work on the app, but was again not very focused. And my partner was slacking as well. Honestly, he said, "I don't see any effort, so I just decided I'm gonna do any of the work." And I was waiting for him to do something, whatever. Excuses, man, excuses. Those are the burden that can bury you and stop you from trying. But I decided to call it quits. It was last year in December, and at that time, it was a hard transition, thinking about what I need to do, because I already was laid off. So I had some money. I was getting some government funding for unemployment, but I don't want to go back into being an employee. I want to create something on my own. And seeing that, like, the plan was with the app, but first, it's not moving. Second, if it did move, I had no plan. I didn't know how to scale that and actually make it profitable, so I didn't see that path. I didn't see how we can grow into something huge that could actually make me. So When you don't see that evolution, when you don't see how you can grow, you don't have a big why about it. It's like, why am I doing? Well, then you stop. And that's about the time when I had twisted my ankle. I was in Varna, I twisted my ankle, and all of a sudden, an uh, Facebook ad shows up. Life coaching summit, life coaching seminar, free 1 hour. Join. Like, why not? It's interesting. It looks interesting. Let me just show up live and see what is happening. And I related to probably 90% of the messages. And I mostly related with the conversation that we are all one people, we are united, and we have to show up with grace and value to the other people. It offered self-exploration. It offered a business strategy. It offered making a practice and creating something for your own, but not through an MLM, because that's what I was offered and tried as well. But that's just not for me. But it offered that guidance and that self truth that you can find, and at the same time you can teach that to other people and help them and guide them in their growth. That was a big decision. It was for $4,500, which is a lot, especially for a person that has no income at the moment. I was tempted. I thought about it. I spoke with my girlfriend at the time, and she said, like, it's your decision, but that's a lot of money. Let me see what it is. I want to see the outcome. She was much more skeptical, but I didn't decide right away. It took me some time, but I kept looking at it. And uh, in October, like there was a discount, and I was like, okay, this is the time. I'm gonna do it. I applied. I bought it. It was 3.8 probably thousand, told $3,800, and I did it. I I paid the money. I joined. I ended up joining the next cohort, not the one that I first joined in, but the next cohort, and it has been just such a such a journey, such an amazing journey with just so much great people, such so many super powerful lessons and knowledge that I have right now. I have grown exponentially, and now I help people actually do the same. Oh, do the same, yeah, grow. That's what I do. I help people grow. I help people find who they want to be, find what they want to do, and find that, not only find it, have the clarity about it, and actually make the steps towards that. Gain confidence, building habits that would support their true self. And that's what Wonderful Minds is. We're wandering, but it's fully immersed and mindful. And we find that thing that moves that person. And we help each other to get there. And I've never forgot the kids. I have a championship mindset for kids. And I'm gonna promote it. And I'm hoping. No, I'm doing. I will see if there is interest. So that's it for today. That's my Sunday live. I've seen nobody live to watch me. That's totally fine. I've been here to talk through. Next week, I will join again, and that time I will talk about what I have learned throughout the week. So I'll be teaching something. You know what? That's amazing. So progress today for a better tomorrow.